Today's video is on using Dolby A noise reduction as an effects processor. Now, this trick is originally attributed to John Lennon. I'm not sure that's true, but in any event, it's a pretty cool trick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Dolby A unit, put it through its paces, see what it's doing, and see if I can match the sound using a modern multi-band compressor plugin. Ray Dolby was a genius. In 1965, he invented the Dolby A noise reduction. Dolby A, in its simplest form, is a solid-state 4-band multi-band compressor and expander. At that time, virtually no solid-state compressors even existed. Bill Putnam had not yet designed the 1176, and Rupert Neve hadn't designed the 2254. If you look at the schematic, you see how incredibly complex this is and way ahead of its time. Here's how Dolby A works. When the signal is going into the tape machine, if it's a full level signal, Dolby encoder should do nothing. But if it's a low level signal, or as the level drops, let's say you have a strum of an acoustic guitar and it's sustaining and it's decaying. As the level reduces, as the level drops, the Dolby encoders, the compressors, will actually increase the high frequencies and the upper mids on that guitar. So when the signal goes into the tape machine, the lower level signals have high frequencies boosted. Now the signal is recorded on the tape machine, and inherent in recording on analog tape is noise. So the noise is now added to your signal. And the decode process works this way. Your guitar sound comes back out with the noise, and it goes through the decoder. Now, when the decoder sees a full level signal, it doesn't do anything. But let's say that guitar strum, the level drops. As the sound is decaying, the decoder will actually reduce the high frequencies. Now, this will return the guitar back to its natural sound before the high frequencies were boosted going through the encoder. But what's important is the noise is mixed with the guitar now. So as the decoder reduces the high frequencies, it also reduces the tape hiss. Now, as an effects processor, we don't care about the decoder. The only thing we love is the encoder. Now, I know that this trick is attributed to John Lennon, but I have to say that every engineer that ever worked on a tape that was Dolby encoded occasionally would hear the tracks without the decoder, and it just sounded lovely. I mean, you would get more tails on the reverb, you would get more shimmer on the cymbals, you would get more air on everything. Occasionally when we would mix, we would switch the decoders off. So let's say on the background vocals, we wouldn't decode them, and they would give that breathiness and the airiness to the voice. But you know, what we realized at a certain point was we could actually just use this Dolby encoder as a separate standalone processor, and whatever we wanted to add that air or the shimmer to, we could send it through the encoder and not use a decoder, and it was a pretty cool effect. So that's what we're going to take a look at today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some tones through the Dolby unit and try them at different levels and see how it responds. And I'm going to see if I can set a plugin to match pretty closely to what the Dolby encoder was doing. And that way you'd be able to get that effect just by using these settings on your multi-band compressor. This is my test setup. It's a voltmeter to measure the output level, a Tascam 2X2, which I love for testing because it does a full plus 20 input and output, and I'm using Arta Software. The John Lennon mod. Now, John Lennon had a mod done that disabled the low and the mid band, and that I can do by removing R109 and R209 on the Cat22 card. So I'm going to pop those out as soon as I get this guy open, and that will give it the John Lennon sound. All right, so here are the measurements before I did the modification. You see the low, mid, and high are all boosted at low levels. And after the modification, you see that the low and the mid are not affected. The high's affected a bit more, and there's a little bit of a notch in the 1 to 2K range, which is probably because there's no overlapping band. So that's what I'm going to try to match, this sound. So the first thing I'm going to do is bounce a lead vocal through the Dolby. So I'm using this VU meter here because it's calibrated to -20, which matches my interface, and I can see what the level is relative to +4 feet in the Dolby. I'm going to send the level just a touch low, just so the effect is accentuated, because the less level you have, the more high frequency boost there is.
I've been thinking about you every day. You're changing me in every single way. I've been thinking about you every day. You're changing me in every single way. I know to you this is just all a game, but I am not afraid. I've seen you 1,000 times before. I ask myself why I'm still wanting more. It spins like a loaded gun on the floor. There's no way I can ignore. Revolver, take me around again. Revolver.
Okay, so now we're going to try to match the modified Dolby with a plugin. There's my high frequency settings. Here's my upper mid settings. I'll show them again at the end. And then when I turn this on, you'll see here's the combination of the two, which looks pretty close to the curve I got from the John Lennon box. And except for I got to do a slight tweak in the Q of the mid-range in order to get that slight dip that it's got around the crossover frequency. I think this matches pretty close. Have a listen. Let's see what you think.
I've been thinking about you every day. You're changing me in every single way. I know to you this is just all a game, but I am not afraid. I've seen you 1,000 times before. I ask myself why I'm still wanting more. It spins like a loaded gun on the floor. There's no way I can ignore. Revolver, take me around again. Revolver, I wanna see where this ends. Revolver, I sing a song and make me go crazy. Revolver, I control.
If you found this video interesting at all, please click the subscribe below and the little notification bell. I'm going to be adding a Patreon link, and I'm going to try to make this a regular series. So if you have any suggestions for videos or comments about this one, please comment below. Until next time.